Hi, my name is Allison Crawford, and this week's Theories of the Press, I will be presenting Hans Knoop. Hans Knoop was born in Amsterdam, Netherlands. He was a Dutch Jewish journalist, and he began his journalist career in 1963 as a reporter for The Telegraph. He reported there for a few years and then went from The Telegraph to The Accent as an editor-in-chief from 1974 to October 1977. He also had books published in his name, which would go into some of his biggest cases, and then also reported on a lot of Jewish or anti-Semitic events that had been happening that weren't being spoken about. Now, into his biggest case was the Minton case. For a little bit of background, the Minton case was about Pierre Minton, who had been known for being guilty for very serious war crimes in Poland. Back in 1941, he had been a part of the Nazi organization and had been fleeing the scene since. He had never been caught for his actions. It was known that he was a very renowned murderer and millionaire, but no one had found enough evidence to really get him to be put to jail. That was until Knoop began his investigation into the testimonies collected in Israel by other Jewish journalists. He was able to get very close into this case, and since he is a Dutch Jewish journalist, he found this to be something that was almost a passion for him to finally put Minton into jail. He fought against death threats and blacklisting and was still able to provide justice for Minton's victims. Knoop was able to gather and discover enough material that was incriminating for Minton and continued to report this to the news, which then brought other news papers in and also reported on them. Later, his discoveries allowed the arrest of Pierre Minton, which then provided justice for those late Jewish individuals who had lost their lives to him. The next slide shows a picture from the New York Times back in 1976 when this discovery had came about and when Israelis were able to finally track down the accused murderer of this late journalist's murderer. Within this article, it actually shows more proof and kind of the heroic journey that Knoop had to go through to provide enough evidence. But overall, he still faced a lot of backlash because of his reporting. A lot of major publications didn't really want to hire him. So he stayed at Accent for a while, but then slowly moved into a media firm. He still is regularly in the news, not recently, but back in the 2000s, where he would still debate against people who were anti-Semitic and were going he would basically provide enough research and respect on the Jewish community, and he fought against a lot of people who were anti-Semitic. So I think overall, Hans Knoop just shows the dedication and fight that a journalist can have to provide enough truth and ethics within journalism. He went through so much to be able to provide justice for individuals who had felt that they had been left alone. And I think that he is really, really impactful. So yeah, thank you so much for listening.